ladies. Welcome to She Builds an Empire. I am so very excited about our interview today. You know, we started this community back in December, and each month we do these expert interviews. But today we have a very special expert for you, somebody who knows her stuff. She is super familiar, not only with our industry, but she started in the industry of helping women and mentoring women to be successful entrepreneurs. I don't know if that sounds familiar, but I think it pretty much gels with what we do here. And she started a group called Women in Business. It's the Women in Business Club, and built a lot of her business in social media, but is no stranger to being an entrepreneur. Began her journey as an entrepreneur back in her early 20s, 21, I think. And I'd like to introduce you to her and then let you guys know that you can certainly ask questions as we go here. Hi, Terry, and hi, Mary. Please, everybody, welcome to our Facebook Live, Raimonda Jan. Thanks for being with us. And I'm super excited to have you here. And it's not exactly early in the morning there, so thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you so much for such a lovely introduction. Nice to meet you, ladies. It's a pleasure to be here.
And with all your background and experience, I feel like we can spend a whole lot of time together, but I want to make sure that everybody knows if they ask you questions and we start running over time, that they can certainly ask them later and that you can answer them after the broadcast here as well. But let's dive in. First thing that I noticed about you when I was looking over all the information before we got to the interview is 21 years old. You started as an entrepreneur at 21. Not only that, but with a very noble and passion-filled project. Can you share your beginning?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was still at university, completing my business management degree, and I found problems in a system and things that I was doing at the time, which was, going to university and spending many hours there, studying. And I came up with this idea of creating an innovative solution to plastic waste problem. And that is a big idea that I wanted to pursue. And I felt really passionate about entrepreneurship and seeing so many successful people that were my role models in starting a business. So I felt really passionate about doing something for myself and building my own business. So that's where I began. I was 21 years old.
I look at you and seeing all the things you've gotten involved with over your life, it really seems as though you learned early the lesson of find your passion and the income follows. And I love that, that you got involved in something that you were passionate about early on. It makes working not feel like work, I would imagine.
No, absolutely. Well, at that time, I didn't know just how much work needs to go into building a successful business. So I guess I was quite naive of how to make a successful business. But certainly I followed, something that I was passionate about, and that just kept me driving and, striving and pursuing because I felt there was a meaning to it beyond the money. So I found out that having that meaning for me, especially, it just felt like I needed to have that in order to, I don't know, just be motivated every day because it's not easy. It's not easy.
So when you think about women who want to start out a career in being entrepreneurial in anything that they're passionate about, um, a lot of people who work for a company, for instance,
Yeah.
you got to step on the toes of the next guy to get the better job, and you've got to do better and always have to prove yourself. But here you are, very much aligned with my belief that the more the merrier, and the concept of shared ideas. What brought you into wanting to help other people reach their goals?
I think over the years of starting a business and having found a lot of support and mentoring along the way from people that wouldn't even charge me money just to spend, an hour, 2 hours having a coffee and giving me advice, just felt really noble. And seeing other entrepreneurs coming after me and, after I have had a couple years experience and ask me these questions, I just realized that if you have done something, you accomplished something, you always need to give back to the next people, behind us, and be able to share what you have learned, because that is the only way that I have learned of how to do business, by not just from the school that I went to, but also working with the mentors and having people, so openly giving their time to me.
So it's a give back sort of a feeling. I love that. And in a group of women, there's a tendency to, think you've got to do better than. And it's so nice to be around a community of people that just want to lift one another up. I simply love it.
You really can't do it all by yourself. And I've realized that, because my first business didn't fly as much as I wanted it to. And, I've realized that, what, to build something successful, to build an empire, you have to be open to having other people have their say in your business, and coming on board to help you and support you, and you being willing to reach out for help. Because so many times, especially as women, trying to do things ourselves, when, if you only picked up the phone to one of your friends or someone in business and just asked the question, or in a group like this, you actually ask the question, how, can someone help me? Has someone had this problem? You would find that so many people would come forward and just say, yeah, I've had this issue, and that's how you deal with it.
Oh my gosh, you are speaking to my heart. I think about how there's really a finite number of questions that people can ask. And at some point, you do have the answers and it becomes a lot easier, but you've got to go through that process. And I think we're hard on ourselves when we don't know. And, crossing over to knowing, it means asking. And sometimes you got to take that step. I really appreciate that. All right, first things first, everybody, so she has 3 wonderful Instagram courses that we have uploaded in the club center under social media. And it's 3 steps. Step 1 gets you kind of started, and then you get into the meat and potatoes. And she really walks you through setting up an Instagram. But in case you think she's just teaching you how to do something, this Women in Business Club built a following. Was it in a year's time to 140,000 followers in like a year's time? Talk about that. That's pretty rapid pace.
So I started Women in Business with events in the UK, and it wasn't really official till a year later. So I didn't initially start an Instagram account from the very beginnings. But when I started to see that this is something that I want to pursue full time, and I wanted to create a brand around it, I decided to take that leap into starting to use Instagram for our business, because so far I've only used it really for personal stuff. And I thought adding another social media account to my to-do list was just crazy. So I did it, and I thought, okay, I'm one of those people that I need to commit to something, or otherwise it'll never get done. So I
Right.
said, okay, let me just commit 1 post a day. That's it. I just want to commit 1 post. And if I can stick to this rule of 1 post a day, I'll be happy with myself with this. And I started, and initially it was such a great response, and we had quite a few people following. I mean, hundreds, 200, 300. I thought, oh, this is great. We're getting somewhere. There's some attention. There's someone listening on the other end. So it became fun. It became fun to connect with people, to see what they're doing. I started to engage in conversation, started to follow other people. So, okay, I'm like, this is cool. I'm getting all these suggestions of people who I can follow, maybe people that I already know. And, there was a response. I was really happy about that. And I just continued with that 1 post a day, 1 post a day, and engaging with audience and asking their questions and finding out what do they want from our content, because I wasn't really sure, what kind of topics should we talk about, what's going to be interesting. Should I even bring myself into the picture, or just keep us, just other women and things? So it actually started to grow really quickly, and we reached our first 1,000 and then 1,500, and I was like, okay, this is cool. So just carried on, and within the first 4 months we reached 10,000 followers. And that's when, I don't know, things changed. Like the scales really tipped once we hit that 10K, and people started to really notice and talk about the things that we do. I would meet up with someone who's like, oh yeah, I've seen your Instagram account. People just started talking about it. I was like, this is crazy. Something is happening. We are gaining the influencer kind of title here.
Sure.
And it was almost pretty every single month. We just get 8, 9, 10,000 followers every single month until a year later, we reached our 100,000 followers mark.
So what I'm hearing is those first 4 months, you didn't know what you had your hands on. You felt it, but you were just kind of stepping in. And then, just like in anything else, momentum kind of starts to pick up over time. And they tell two friends, and they tell two friends, much like our industry is sort of set up. You reach out and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But in that beginning, when, okay, you found 100 or 200, were you thinking to yourself, well, that's about all it's going to be, and yay, good for me? Did you start doubting it at any point in time?
No, you know what? It was just exciting to have 200 people following us.
Sure.
It was cool to go from no followers to not even having an Instagram account to having 100 people. So to be honest, I appreciated that. At no point did I think we'd reach 100,000. I thought, well, it's going to take us 5 years or something.
Right.
But it also didn't come without its challenges, but also the time and commitment, because it wasn't just one post a day, as much as I'd like to, just say, yeah, it was just that. I did engage a lot with other people. I did have those conversations. I find messages from people now who says, oh yeah, I remember following you from the humble beginnings, from when you had 1,000 followers, and would have conversations, because I think that's what makes a difference, having those conversations.
Right.
And showing your audience that you actually care about them. They're not just a number, right? So I think it's important.
So as you started to build, you mentioned the word brand. So you did have to start thinking about your brand. And when you post, I imagine it's quite deliberate. You choose content carefully, from your heart. But how do you build on, and it's hard to say, this will be successful or this won't, but how did you decide what was going to resonate for you?
I think it was important to know what my values were. What is it that I wanted to transpire into this world? What should we stand for as a community or as a brand? What should we stand for? What kind of messages do we want to send out to people? And more importantly, how do you want to make people feel? Because the feeling is so important. And I say it's important to Instagram, particularly because it's a very fast moving platform, right? We sit there and we scroll and it's just kind of moving fast. So if you want to connect with your audience, your content need to make people feel something. And when you make people feel like this, they stop and they look and they read and they engage. But if your content, just like any other content, yeah, I just made a post, then you're really missing a trick of making that connection.
Right. So how do you, like to your own thought, it's become more than once a day, and, it's your business now. So you take that, and there's got to be times where you're like, I have no idea what to post. I mean, what do you do in those moments? I guess you keep a list of ideas when you have a good idea day, or how does it work?
Yeah, of course. I mean, not every single day you're going to feel inspired. And that's why I kind of use different tricks to help have content on the go. So I do teach, actually, in this training, I talk about how to batch create your content and how to have something on hand all the time. So on the days like I'm not feeling it today, or I'm not feeling motivated, I'm feeling down, it's okay. I'm feeling, low. So you have some content already in your storage, in one of the apps that you're using, that you can just dip in at any time, and it's just there. So sometimes when inspiration strikes, or when I'm doing some research, I would create quotes or prepare some images, and to be on brand as well. Sometimes your images might need to have some editing done to it. You might want to have watermark, or the images has to have particular color or style. So it's important that you prepare that content in advance and you don't just do it on the fly, because it's difficult, especially I work from home. It's not every day I go out into town or beautiful coffee shop or things that would excite my audience. So I have to prepare content in advance and have it ready.
And that way, if you're going on vacation for a week, you can prepare what you need to keep your audience engaged while you're gone, right? So, okay, content, you design a brand. I imagine you had some help along the way with that as well.
Yeah, I mean, we had a logo done and the usual things, but to be honest, there are so many tools out there that you don't need anyone to specifically create content for you.
Right.
There are many, many apps and tools that you can create content on the go. You can make content free of charge and make it your own, like Canva. I use WordSwag. Now we use an app called Bazaar. And to be honest, it doesn't cost anything. It just
Wow.
costs your time and your own creativity and ideas of what it is that you want to share. So don't think that you need to make a huge investment to get started with it.
So let's talk about if you are trying to drive your audience to make some form of a purchase, for instance,
Mhm.
or to join you in some way, shape, or
Yeah.
form. There's a careful line that your sincerity and your need or your desire for them to join you in some way. How do you reconcile that, or do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, of course. I think it's a process. When someone becomes your follower, you can't expect them to, you know, jump in with you and just say, yeah, I'm all in. So what you need to realize that there is a process in your audience mind that happens whether you like it or not, right? So it's
Right.
that discovery feeling of, okay, I just followed you and now tomorrow you're trying to sell me something, right? That's no. But I just followed you, and the next day I saw a post about you saying, oh, here I am. I just want to introduce myself or reintroduce myself. This is who I am. This is my passion. This is why I do what I do. And on a daily basis, I would see your content that would be inspiring, that would make me think about something. It would add value to what I'm doing. You're sharing some tips, some ideas. You're showing me that actually you're really enjoying the products or something that you're doing, right? You're passionate about what you're doing. So I follow a lady from the States, and she does hair products, and she shows different ways of styling hair, or of taking care of her hair. She makes it fun. She shares some lifestyle images of herself having fun. And I think when you experience that authenticity of you actually enjoying the product, you enjoying the process, and you're happy to share it with the world, I think that's when naturally people will feel, I want to know more. And they will be reaching out to you. Then you trying to push in, just saying, oh, buy this. There are some accounts that just share buy. No one buys because
Right.
they're not inspired. I mean, I can go to Amazon and buy product 10 times cheaper, but you need to make me feel. It comes back to that. Make me feel something, and I will come to you and buy it.
I love that. And I was hoping you would say something to that effect, in that you're attracting people to you and to your brand and to what matters to you. And so you sleep well at night knowing that you're speaking from your heart. It's not, hey, have I got a deal for you? It's more, this is who I am and this is my lifestyle and this is what I bring to the table. And the experience and confidence in what you've got your hands on will exude to people and they will just be attracted to that, is what I would
Yeah.
imagine by way of that.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, there is no shame in selling. There are times when you need to make a promotional post, but what I'm saying is there needs to be a journey in your audience, in on that journey with you. Can you take these people on a journey with you, on a journey of discovery of who you are, discovery of what they need, right? Because they won't just buy just because you're selling something. They'll buy because they bought into your voice, your brand, your passion, your ideas, your tips. You know, we buy from people. We don't just buy from, that's how I see it when we do business, right, with each other. We buy because of that person, because they're
Right.
amazing. They're great at customer service. They respond to my messages, right?
They tap in. Well, now with so many people following your account, I imagine it's a little harder to get as personal in that DM sort of relationship. And how do you find a way to connect now that it's bigger?
Yeah. I think like with any platform, you will have, messages that, I would say spammy or feels like spammy. So we all get that. But then there are messages that you really feel like someone has sat down and spent some time writing it. So I do actually still try to engage and connect, and I still comment on people's posts and like their posts and share their posts and respond to messages. And I still manage my Instagram myself fully because I actually enjoy that process. I enjoy getting to know people and feeling what it is that they want. And the thing with Instagram is it will never be consistent. Just because you're successful right now, it doesn't mean it will always be like that. Or Instagram goes through phases of the algorithms, changes, the visibility, that is showing to your audience. And it goes through dips and ups and downs, and what your audience likes. What your audience likes today doesn't mean that they're going to like tomorrow. So you always have to be kind of on the go and understanding what it is that engages with your audience. You might make a quote today and you're going to make a quote tomorrow. Tomorrow's quote is going to be, a dive, and today's quote gone viral, right? You can't predict. And that's why with social media, not everything is going to be successful. You got to try different things. And we gone through, so I think when we hit a 40,000 mark, we gone through a massive dip in visibility. And I thought, what's happening? Why are content not reaching, not engaging? It's just a dip. So after a little while, I thought, what can I do? So guess what I did?
Reinvented yourself, started a new business. No.
I changed the font in our quotes.
That's it.
That's it.
Wow. And that changed everything. Isn't that
I mean,
remarkable?
it's gone from like 300 likes to like 1,200 likes overnight.
Wow. I think that people will, would look at something like that and say, oh, it's just not working anymore, or something to that effect. Did you do a lot of trial and error in the beginning? I imagine it wasn't something you were expert at to start
Yeah,
with.
of course not. You just try it, and it has that social effect. You have to have a social mindset if you want to, especially if you network marketing business. You got to have that social mindset where you are open to having conversations and not just selling conversations. And with changing this the font, what I realized that people were starting to get used to the same content and same thing all the time, so they just needed that switch. You know what I mean? Just change something and their attention is back. And
Squirrel.
someone, yeah, a week later, I met up with one of my members. We were having dinner, and she said to me, "Did you hire a new VA?" I'm like, "No." And she said, I noticed a font change." And
Isn't
I
that
just had to
funny?
explain to her why, because and it caught her attention that, okay, hold on, something different going on here.
Wow, that's incredible. And what a great testimony to, staying with it. It's like, okay, well, let's find out what's happening here. And it can be something as small as that.
Yeah.
When you're deciding to brand yourself, what kind of things go into the thought process there? Um, Colors and things like that. Did you have to feel like you needed to hire somebody for that, or did you just go with what your heart thought?
I think colors is really a big part of a brand and the colors that you choose. So, especially for network marketing, your product brands might be, blue, green, yellow, it doesn't matter. But you can have your own brand colors that resonates with you. You might like gray and white, or the minimalistic look, or you might like something bold, right? So I think colors, when you're choosing colors, you create an experience and you create that memorable factor to what it is that you're doing, right? So if you all like our codes are pink, not everyone loves pink. The amount of people I had reaching out to me and saying, why pink? You're about women empowerment. That is so cliche to have pink. I was like, well, that's a color we choose to use. I mean, it's not for everyone,
If you don't like it, bye. No, I'm just kidding.
you know, it was kind of gobsmacked. I was like, okay, well, no, I do appreciate it. I appreciate the feedback, but this is our brand, this is what it is. So everyone is different about what they like. And I think you've got to go with what it is that you like. If you're choosing branding, if you are minimalistic, you're not going to go for bright pink, are you? So choose what fits with you, what sits with you.
Well, and I like that you appreciate the feedback, but also know what's important to you and what works and resonates for you. And that's what has made you successful, is kind of sticking with, your instinct and what works for you. So with people that are probably watching right now, it may be overwhelming to start to learn a whole new platform. Facebook is some people's platform. You start with Instagram and you don't really know what you're doing, and maybe you post something that just flops, or the very first couple of things don't do anything and they start to lose steam. I mean, getting started, we have videos where you do a very good job of explaining how to get started, but give a little tip of getting out there.
There's no easy way with it. And, I was reluctant to start our Instagram account. Many fears of failing, fears of no one being interested, and fear of, can I keep up with this? Because it's like, it's not easy. Sometimes we have life get in the way and it's just not easy to keep up with social media. But you got to find some joy in it. If you can find some excitement and, fun out of doing it, it shouldn't be another job that you add to your to-do list. You got to find a way to enjoy it. So in terms of figuring out how it all works, every platform is different. And you know what? And even the same platform will work differently for different people, different brands. So, the success that we achieved, I'm not saying you can do exactly the same thing in the same amount of time by following the exact steps, because what you do and your brand and how it resonates with people and how you communicate might be completely different, right? And there are a certain amount of people that will be interested in that, but it doesn't mean the whole world is going to be interested in that. Right. So you kind of be objective in terms of what it is that you're doing and who is it resonating with. Are you actually resonating with the people that you're trying to attract? Maybe it's about figuring out, first of all, who do you want to attract? Because that's really, really important.
Gosh, that's such great information. I want to invite you guys to ask some questions, but I know that's, oh, wow, what's this big long one up here? Do you see that, Raimonda? Okay, let's see. Oh, can you see them also?
I think so. I have some hellos, highs.
How often do you post on Instagram to gain traction? We talked about that. Did it go slow at first? What was the pivot point in your following beginning to duplicate? That's interesting. I don't know that we touched on that necessarily. I've been on Instagram for a while, but I haven't really given it the attention it deserves. And we did go over that it needs some attention on a regular basis. Let's talk about a pivot point. Did you notice that, or did you just keep going?
I definitely saw, like I said, a massive breakthrough at 10K. With Instagram, 10K is like a big milestone, if you like, because that is when Instagram opens the feature of having the swipe up in your stories. And a lot of people try to get to 10K for that feature, right? It's not as glamorous as
It does sound glamorous. I'm intrigued.
so after you reach 10K, you get a swipe up feature on your Instagram, and it's pretty cool. I mean, it's fantastic. But that is, I think, when people start to realize that you're going up. And once you reach 10K, is definitely a tipping point of visibility, authority building. I mean, these social platforms are not just, yes, of course, you can use it for personal purposes, but if you want to use it for business, it's great when you can leverage these social media platforms to build your authority and to build your reach. When you start to get those kind of numbers in 10K and beyond, you are an influencer. Brands will want to work with you. People will want to work with you. People want to listen to you because you've done something right. So I think it's also keeping in mind that what is your goal, right? If you're going to choose to use any social media, think about, what is my end goal with this? Where am I taking this? Why am I doing it? What's the purpose of it, right? If you don't really have a plan and you don't have a purpose and you're just kind of hunting around for one or two clients, it's not going to have that longevity that you want. But if you see the long-term game plan for what you're doing, you'll stay committed. You'll stay on the ball for it. You'll want to work there because you got the goal. So, at first for me, it was really exciting. Okay, let's get to 10K. Let's do a bit of work. Let's engage a few people. Let's get to 10K. When I got to 10K, I was like, I want to get to 100K.
And you no doubt have more goals now, right?
And now we got to 100K and almost at 140 now. And it's not as important to me anymore because I reached that goal. For me now, I have other goals, do events and, host retreats. So my goals has changed and I'm not focused on growing Instagram anymore because my goals has changed. But at that time, it was exciting to get there.
For sure. And those followers are looking for content from you on a regular basis. Okay, so I have a question that comes from the land of my children. So I've got an 18 and 19 and a 20-year-old, and they're on Instagram and they're on Snapchat is their other big thing. That's what kids use. And I could call them on the phone and they don't even answer. They'll text me back, what? And it's the way it is now, right? And my kids helped me set up an Instagram, and it was just more of a personal Instagram, and I just use it to kind of stalk them in their lives and see what's going on in their worlds, right? But my daughter said, Mom, you can't follow so many people because then you look like you're following more than you are being. They have to follow you. So yeah. I didn't understand the rule. I just was going in there and following whoever asked me to, right? So how does that work about follow the perception? I guess it's silly, right? But that's how they think.
I love it. And, yes, so many people talk about this perception of you can't follow more people than following you and you shouldn't follow many. And I know it's important. To some people, it's important. And it's kind of, they look at that and make something out of it. To me, I'm just like, hey, whatever, you want to follow that many people, follow that many people. Who cares? Right?
It was immediate. My daughter was like, what are you doing? Stop, don't follow all those people. And I thought, okay, well, but why? And she said, you just look like a loser. And I thought, oh boy. Who knew?
I mean, do what suits you. You know what? I actually found there is a limit of how many people you can follow on Instagram.
Oh, that's so funny. So do you ever do anything where you say, I'll follow you back, or does it not work that way?
So back in August, we launched this campaign called Follow Back Monday, because so many people were losing their Instagram following. They were struggling with growing their following. So we said, okay, let's just do this Follow Back Monday thread where you can comment and follow each other, basically. And I said, okay, anyone that takes part in this, we're going to follow. And we started following all these people from Follow Back Monday. And then I was like, I can't follow any more people. What's happening? I thought Instagram blocked me, because a lot of times when you engage too much, you start to get blocked. You're sending DMs, or it feels like it's automated. I thought maybe I got blocked for a second. But then day 2, day 3, day 4, I was like, I can't follow any more people. And it's frustrating when you trying to support someone that like our speakers and things like that. I was like, no, I need to follow these people. And then I realized that I'm following too many people. It was 7,500, and that was it. I was capped.
They're like, you're not allowed anymore. So then you have to start ditching people and bringing in new people.
I had to unfollow. So now I think we only follow 2,500, but literally, but I think it's important. You got to follow people, first of all, who you are interested in and you want to engage with, right? If you're not going to engage, what you're doing
Ah, that's
essentially
a good point. Uh-huh.
is dipping their visibility.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are on someone's followers list and you're not engaging with that content, then you're like a ghost follower. So if you don't engage with that content, Instagram isn't going to show you their content, and their visibility or percentage dips because of that.
Oh,
So
that's
only engage
great.
with accounts that you actually want to engage with and follow and, watch their content. And that way also Instagram algorithm will be intentional in sending you the type of content that you might enjoy. All right, if there are something like you're interested in the beauty industry, so follow accounts that are similar so you can see more similar content and more people being suggested to you in your industry. But if
Right.
you follow anyone and everyone, Instagram says, hold on a minute, I don't know what to give to this woman, right? So think about that. And, if you are in a particular industry, try and not necessarily stay in that industry, but engage more with that kind of content.
That's really great advice. Um, Before, you've been so kind, and we've even gone over as far as time is
Okay.
concerned, and it's late there in London. And I know you said you're a night owl, but to me, I'd be already in my fuzzy socks if I were you. It
Who
looks
says I don't have my fuzzy socks? I do.
You're like, as a matter of fact, let me show you my feet. Is there anything I've missed that you really want to share with this audience? I want to make sure that you get an opportunity to share anything you have going on that you might want to share.
So I want to share a story of one of my followers who had a massive fear of social media, and not necessarily social media, but showing herself as, as the person behind the business. And she always thought that maybe people will be judgmental or will not like her and will in turn will not buy her products. So she literally had a business for 10 years and never really made significant money and would only post generic content. After we met and we've spoken and she started to see what we do on Instagram, and I started to teach her of how to use Instagram and how important it is for you as the person behind your business to show your face and to come forward to share images of yourself or videos and just share your true voice. So she started to do that. When we met, I think she had 400 followers. And then she started to come out, she started to do some lives, and she started to really show herself, right, as the person behind the business. I think she's now at 6,000 followers, and it's been 7 months or 8 months.
Wow.
And everything changed because people started to connect with her as the person, and they started to fall in love of who she is, right? And I found it such a interesting case study as a testimonial, just, how important it is to show yourself behind a brand, because people will always connect with people. People will always, build that stronger relationship with what you do if you're not afraid to show yourself. So even if you have that fear of showing up or fear, confidence, just remember that people will love you for who you are. You don't need to be anyone but yourself, because in this social media world, everyone trying to build this perfect life or show just a perfect life. But you don't need to have a perfect life to show up, because when you have a perfect life, people can't connect.
Yeah.
Right? So don't be afraid to show the real and the raw and just who you are. And that's what people will get to know and fall in love. And you'll never need to have an Instagram filter or a persona that you're building online. You'll just have the real followers who follow for you.
And the right people, like you're saying, it doesn't matter whether you get followers. It matters that the right people are in there and taking a look. And if you're being honest and true to yourself, that's what you're going to get. Whether it's 6,000 or 100,000 is neither here nor there. It's the quality of the relationships that you're building, I would imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. All day. I mean, I always say it's not about quantity, but not about quantity or quality. I would rather have 100 followers who could engage with my content every single day than 100,000 followers who never engage, right? So it's never about numbers. If you can grow 1,000 followers who are super engaged, do that. Don't try to get to 10K of fake followers who never engage, because your account will just, will not be healthy. So don't
Wow.
focus on the numbers, focus on
Yeah.
relationships.
That makes perfect sense. It's like building on a house of cards. We say in this industry, you need a foundation that you believe in, and that you're authentic with that foundation. And everything is so fragile in the beginning, and if you're not being yourself, the house of cards tumbles away. But if you start with this, brick and mortar foundation of, I believe what I have my hands on, you just it all begins to build from there, because if you experience it that way, so will other people. And I love what you're saying. And again, I just think your platform and everything aligns with what we do so very much. And I just love that there are women out there willing to help other women, really make it happen. And I appreciate your time. And I imagine you'll be back in here to take a look if anybody has any questions after the fact.
Yeah, of course. I look forward to it, ladies. So if you have questions or comments, or you want to share about your journey, I'd be really interested to just find out where on that journey you are right now. Because you look back in like 6 months, a year, and be like, wow, I was there. So wherever you are in your journey, don't be afraid to share it and talk about it.
Thank you so much, Raimonda Jan, everybody. Thank you for spending time with us today. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Kelly. I really appreciate for this opportunity, and thank you, ladies, for watching.
Have a great evening. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.